Okay, so we're back. Welcome back, Shero Moms. So today, thank you first of all for coming back, for tuning in. And if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Kay Sue, and I am a Shero Mom, and I hope you know that you're a Shero Mom too. So today, I'm not quite sure if I spoke about this in the last video, but I want to make it clear what the purpose is of Shero Moms and of me even doing this. For years and years, I struggled with trying to figure out what my purpose in life was. I never really understood why I would get dissatisfied at every job that I had. Like maybe for a long, long time, I did not stay at any job longer than a year. And that, as you can imagine, looks not so great on a resume, right? Having why are you always leaving? Like, why can't you keep a job? I worked at Bank of America for 4 years. That was the only one that I stayed for longer than a year. But even there, I had like 3 or 4 different jobs, And it's so amazing to me in hindsight, looking back now, I can clearly see that the reason I never stayed at any job, even though I gave myself all the reasons. Oh, the job, they laid off people, so that I ended up being laid off. Or I moved, I transitioned from one state to the next. Like I always had a reasonable excuse for why I, had a different job or took another job or left a job. But really and truly, it was because I was not in purpose. Like I wasn't using any of my own natural gifts and talents. Certainly not in any sort of functional way that was required for the role. And, something inside of me must have just said, this is not the place. This is not for you. But of course, as some of you may relate, I was a single mom. I had to care for my child. I had to pay bills. I had to keep a roof over our head. I had to buy food and, all of those things. And so I always ended up being employed, but never really staying anywhere longer, like I said, than a year. And then at around 2007, I think it was, Casey may have been, she was probably not 10, she was probably like 8 or 9. I can't even remember. But anyway, we were here in Boston and I was working at the bank. And that's when I started really struggling with this issue of, what am I doing here? Like, why can't I find any satisfaction in my work? Or, it just was very ho-hum. And I couldn't really find any sort of, outside of Casey. Like I knew like there was a definite purpose there and I had to be a good mom and I had to raise her in the right way. And I had to, provide for her and make sure that our relationship was good and growing and thriving. And all of those things was for sure part of my purpose during that time. But I was just on this seemingly elusive search for purpose, and I just started searching, like really searching, and I became a reader. Now, let me tell you something about your friend Karasu here. I was never a reader. I was a numbers girl. Give me the math, give me the accounting, give me all kinds of subjects that have to do with numbers or figures or logic, and my brain was very analytical. And give me a book and I want to cry. Tell me I have to write a paper and I want to cry even more. I was never the reader or the writer. That was my older sister's job. She loved that stuff. And I just, So to think of the idea of picking up a book to read for fun, that didn't cross my mind. That wasn't even something I kind of wanted to do. But for some reason, while I was on this search, it really just, it became apparent that maybe some of these books have the answer. Like, I would watch a lot of TV and I didn't really, I just wanted to go deeper. I couldn't find out I didn't even know what I was searching for to begin the search, So anyway, I did stumble across that book, The Secret. And well, I mean, who doesn't love Oprah, right? And it was on, she had the author of the book and, the stars from the show on her show, on the Oprah show. and I watched it, and I watched the movie, and then I was like, I need more, and I went and I bought the book, and I read the book, and I was like, I still want more, like I need. So I literally, because it was fascinating to me, this issue of how the mind works and how you can use your mind to generate your reality. And it seemed kind of like magic, but I knew it wasn't magic, but I knew there was something there, because one of the things that they spoke about, which I'll never forget, was that your external circumstances is a reflection of what's going on here, of your internal reality. And it was years and years before I really understood what that concept was. There's a whole lot more to it, right? You have to it's a blanket statement, and it's not an absolute statement. Like, there's other things that could be going on, but it was definitely something that just intrigued me, And so, like I said, I went and I bought the book because I was like, I need to see the words. I'm very visual. I need to see the words so that I can retain the information. And then when the book was over, I was like, well, maybe I made a list of all the people who were in the movie. And I was like, maybe they wrote books. And if they did, I want to read their books. So I made my little list and I went back to the bookstore. And of course, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, so I can't just be buying up a whole bunch of books. But that was during that time Borders bookstore was around, and Borders would always have these, bargain sales, or they would put books outside the store that you could go through, and they were always heavily discounted. And then I became like a Borders member, and they would send you like a coupon every month or so, and I would just wait until I got my coupon, and I would identify which books I want to get, and then I would go, and I just became like a crazy lady reading books. That year I read over 50 books in 1 year. And well, those aren't even the books, because all of the books I read in that year, plus and then some, I ended up taking to Jamaica and leaving in Jamaica. These are books that I have now acquired since I've been back for 5 years. And that's not even all of them. There's more behind me here. But I just became obsessed with reading and learning. And what I found out after was that I was actually growing. So this whole issue of growing is what I want Shero Moms to be about. I want us to recognize that you never ever stop growing, right? And that whether it is growing in your relationship, whether it is growing in your parenting skills and style, whether it is growing just in your own sort of ability to expand your thinking and, receive new information and get revelation and wisdom and discernment so that you can make better decisions, so that you can change behavior, so that you can start attracting the right people. And I put attracting in quotation marks because it's not a magic thing. A lot of these new age or, like positive thinking or law of attraction, they try and tell you that it's, you're attracting this. And I guess they're using that word to sort of make it relatable. But really what it is that when you have a certain identity of who you are, because you have grown and you have recognized certain things, whether they're challenges or shortcomings or whatever it is, and you have taken the necessary steps to change it or to fix it or to transform yourself, then suddenly certain people don't come around anymore. Suddenly you find yourself drawn to different kinds of people. Suddenly you find yourselves in situations and circumstances that are life-giving, that are promoting you, that, whether actually in your job or just promoting life and just a higher way of being. I don't really know how to put it in words, but really, I could never understand, statements like, my boyfriend, he cursed me out and he called me the F word and he did that and the other thing. And that has never, ever happened to me. And I'm thinking, I dated some not so savory characters, but I just never had the experience where that happened. And I have to attribute that to the fact that somehow, on some level, whoever I was dating or in a relationship with, those people just knew that that wasn't acceptable. You know, there was a standard and it just wasn't acceptable. There was one that came very close, and then he was no more after that one time. So, and I know it's easy for me to sit here and say that. I know everybody's circumstance is different, and this is by no means, you know, trying to belittle anyone or you know, make anyone feel bad, because that's definitely not the place for I would never be doing that, and it's not the place that I want this place to be about. But I really want to encourage you to take sort of a little, like an inward look at where your life is right now and where you want it to go, right? I think so many times as single moms, we are so focused on the children, and it's so important to be focused on them because they are the priority. But, you know, you are important too. Like, your needs matter too, and your hopes and your dreams and your desire are just as important as raising a good and healthy person to be in the world. And I say that because of what I said in the last message. Children are going to mimic what you do, not just what you say. And so when you put the oxygen mask on yourself first, then you are better capable and able to raise your child or to handle your child or to put the mask on your child. And that's why they say that on the airline, because if you're dead, you cannot save your child. So it's really very important. It's so easy for us as women, as mothers, to just, you know, give our all, and everything is about the children. But I really want to encourage you to, you know, take stock of where you are and just secretly, just between you and yourself, you know, or between you and God, or whatever intimate, small way that you can, think about what you want out of life and how you see yourself. And if you don't see that in a good way, I want to encourage you to keep coming back, because I really want this to be a place where you can be encouraged, where you can know there is more, where you can learn new things, where you can, you know, discover new possibilities, because this is definitely not all there is. I am doing these videos and I'm putting out this content and want to be the sounding board for you or the encourager for you, because I know that that's my purpose. And I don't have the big stage and all the books and everything else that I know is in my future, but this is where I am now, and I need to start now from right where I am. And I know that the same is true for you. You just need to figure out what that is first. And if you know already what it is, you need to start taking the baby steps, because there's no time like the present. And we're all at home. And if you're not at home, if you're one of our essential workers, God bless you. Thank you for all of you're doing. But you still have, you know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the end of every day, you know, to yourself. Start thinking about it. It's okay. It is not only okay, it is more than okay for you to think about you and what you want to be and do and get out of this life and pour back into this life. So that's my word for today, ladies. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe below. If you liked the video, please give me a like. Tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, or what you want to hear more of. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.